Swim check 1, 2. Bike check 1, 2. Run check 1, 2. I think we're ready. Let's try this. Welcome to the Try Beginner's Luck podcast, a podcast where we explore the sport of triathlon from a variety of perspectives to help beginner triathletes on their journey. I am your host, Michanda Shines. Welcome back to another edition of Try Beginner's Luck. All right, we are rocking and rolling. We're back to basics. For me, as I've been saying the last couple of weeks, it's running. Running is that gateway, entryway. Well, technically not running, but running is what got me on my endurance career. All that to say, we all get our start somewhere. Today, I'm always excited, but I'm like excited / nervous / giddy because I get to interview two of my big sisters. Yes. And I'm nervous because I've learned so much from them throughout the course of many years. And I feel like not that perfection is a thing, but you just want to get it right. When family comes, you just want to get it right. Well, we're going to hurry up and get into this because I want to make sure that I have all the time to chat with them. They're BFFs and have been BFFs for over 35 years. One got her start swimming, went to school on a swimming scholarship, went to Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. They both did, are both members of the amazing, the one and only Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, more specifically, the Beta Alpha chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha. Yep, I said it twice. Yep. And one is a media personality. She's an author. She's a philanthropist. She's an actress. She started a nonprofit around 2006, which I think is probably the catalyst of this all being like getting back into sports and empowering young girls in sports, called Sporty Girls. So Sporty Girls was founded in 2006 by one of them. And I'm just going to go ahead and say the name because usually I say it at the end, but by Rashan Ali. The other guest is an athlete in her own right, but she is like a creative genius. She's made jewelry. I feel like is a decorator prowess. Like she's organized to a T. Like if you need something organized, you get this person on it and it is planned from top to bottom. But she also is a curator and founder of her own. The organization that she founded is Crafted for Action. Get it? Crafted for Action. I get to bring to this audience two women who've tried and they continue to try in their own right. Without further ado, I get to bring my big sisters, Rashan Ali and Jennifer Price, to the podcast. Welcome, y'all. How y'all doing?
Hey. Doing well. How are you?
Good. I got so nervous. And I think it's just because.
Yeah, why are you nervous?
Because I just do. It's just one of those things. It's like you trying to not say who it is without saying the details was really challenging. Like I'm like trying to hold it back.
Yeah.
But you guys have done so much. And I think collectively, I think I moved to Atlanta in 2003?
It was before I was back home. So yeah, probably.
So 2003. Yeah. And then Rashan, you and I connected and I was your assistant for a little bit. And then we worked together, helped you start Sporty Girls.
Yeah.
And I think that was really, for me, what got me back into what I first more engaged in sport. Because, you go to college and I didn't go to school. I went to school for band, forgetting about swimming because I swam when I was young. But remembering when you started Sporty Girls and wanted to do something for young girls in Atlanta, it was just like, wow, swimming is a gift that I don't think I remembered how much of a gift it is, because it was so common to me, not realizing that many Black women don't know how to swim.
Right. Right. Yeah, I just thought that it was very important. And, the impetus of Sporty Girls was to get, particularly girls from all socioeconomic backgrounds, but having grown up like both of you in middle class homes, I think, a lot of the girls, we get overlooked for the programs that cost a whole lot of money. And then obviously the median income in our home did not qualify us for those amazing programs for low income young women. So I think Sporty Girls was important because we wanted to be able to open that up so that girls like you and I could be exposed to swimming, soccer, tennis, golf, and lacrosse. And we all know the indelible mark that we've made on so many of these young women's lives to this day, and they're still in our lives. And so swimming was my thing. And so I was able to use that as one of the sports for Sporty Girls, and not knowing that, eventually Jen would take classes and take lessons to be able to strengthen herself as a swimmer, which she'll get into later, but then spark your interest back in the sport as well. So you just never know when you move in purpose. You never know the residual effect from that you'll have on the people around you. So obviously I appreciate you even saying that.
Yeah, moving in purpose. Sometimes that can be so hard to just to just do a thing, because when you are doing things in purpose, you don't know if you're doing it right. And you may feel like, well, I don't want to keep doing this because I don't feel like I'm doing a great job at it. And what kept you going with Sporty Girls? Because like you said, you've helped so many. And then eventually it kind of launched a pad for a group of people getting back active.
Yeah. I just really think that I knew that we were doing a good thing. And obviously both of you have played such an integral role in just the success of Sporty Girls. None of this is by myself or anything like that. Heck, I mean, if you guys weren't involved, it probably wouldn't have made it past this first couple of years easily. But I just think when you see when you get those little notes from people, or notes as in conversations, like my daughter never picked up a golf club, or my daughter was always scared of the water. And then you hear those parents like, this program has changed my daughter's life. Then you're like, oh, well, we got to keep going. We got to keep going. So then that's kind of was how it went. And I'm just happy again. We still have these young ladies in our lives, even though, Sporty Girls hasn't really been active since 2020. We still have young ladies that are in our sphere of influence that have gone through this program, and we see the data that all these people wanted us to prove for so long. We see the data living in real life, and sometimes it's not about what we have to send into these people that give these grants to us, but we see how these young women have turned out, and that's what kept us going for so long.
So Jen, you're helping to curate experiences and camps to teach young women how to swim. And then you say, well, wait a minute, what about me? I want to learn how to swim. What was that about? Like, you're seeing people get in the water and swim, but you have to be on the sidelines perhaps, but you were still running things. But what was that like for you to, to get back and learn how to swim as an adult?
It's probably one of the most challenging things I've ever done in my whole life, but also one of the most rewarding things. I started swimming because, we used to run for a long time, and I played soccer in high school. So didn't really fancy myself as a runner, but there's so much running in soccer, but I was a goalie, which is the least running position on the field. But played soccer, injured myself way back in high school a very long time ago. I remember my doctor telling me that I would have knee troubles in my 30s. And I was like, that's forever. That's whatever. I'll be so old by then. But fast forward to my 30s, and after running and doing and CrossFitting and such, I did tear my knee up. And the doctors told me that in order to stay active, I should pick up yoga and swimming. And I was already doing yoga. So I started that back up, but then challenged myself to start swimming again. And or to start swimming in general. Like I play in the water, I could do a little stroke, but taking those lessons was probably the most difficult thing to do just as an adult. Like there was a little bit of, I think, personal embarrassment I had to get over and shame for not knowing, but also knowing through our work with Sporty Girls that most Black girls don't swim. And if they did, they stopped at a certain age because of hair and grooming and all the challenges that I know y'all can relate to. But it just wasn't a thing in my household. My mom never swam. My brother swam. My sister also took lessons because of me. But yeah, it was challenging for so many ways. Once I got over the embarrassment and shame and just my initial fear of not knowing, because I've never been afraid of the water. Like you never could keep me out of the pool or off the beach. But just getting over that hurdle was probably my first big challenge. But yeah, I did it with a coach. I found a coach, a friend who coached me through it, Reggie. And it was awesome. It's probably the best thing I've done, and for my body. And it's one of those things, Rashan, to tell you, it's like one of those. You know this too. It's a lifetime sport. You can do it for so long into your life, and it becomes better for your body the older you get. When you don't need to be pounding the pavement and running. And I mean, you see elderly women at the YMCA pool all the time, and elderly men all the time. So it's one of those things you can carry out into your life. And so I'm so happy that I took that challenge to try.
Shout out to Reggie. Reggie, I've been trying to get on the podcast
yeah.
too. So one day we'll get him on.
Oh, he gonna see this and he coming.
Triathlete. Serious triathlete.
He, as he say, chasing the sun. I think that's his his
yeah.
But it is hard. Swimming is one of those sports that isn't easy, especially for Black women and our hair, because aesthetics, it's important. Mm-hmm. I know I stopped swimming after my senior year of high school and was happy because I didn't have to worry about hair anymore. And some people have to keep their hair short or figure out protective styles that it's just a lot. Mm-hmm. And you have to be dedicated to the swim life in order
or just be like, oh, well, I'm gonna have a bad crop of hair until I get it together. Because listen, it is what it is.
It is.
It is what it is. It is. You go through this. Listen, people be talking about good hair. This crop of hair has been through so much, and I'm still on the process side. So I was doing all the processing and all that with the chlorine. Child, I don't even know how I even have hair. Praise God, I do. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. But yeah, like it's a lot, and especially for somebody who doesn't care for it initially either. So that's just, it's a thing. It's a thing with Black women. We love our hair. We want our hair to be right all the time, every day.
Like I'm almost feeling a little naked. I ain't got on my wig today, and I'm like, woo.
I like this.
It's pretty.
I love it. But you get so accustomed to certain things, you're like, oh, okay. Well, either way,
yeah,
we have to do what we have to do in order to have what we want to have, especially as it relates to health. And we can't allow our hair to be the end all be all and why we can't do a thing.
Right.
You mentioned I guess it was maybe 2009, we started running and doing 5Ks, 10Ks, then half marathons. That was a time. And I look back on that time and I'm like, how did we even get started?
Wasn't it you?
It was you. You started us with the distance. I think maybe we were already doing like 5Ks, maybe. But I think the distance was you for sure.
But I just remember all of us doing Publix, ING, half.
It was in March.
And it was it was the Ponchos crew.
It was the crew. Yeah. Yeah. That was an era. It truly was an era. Yeah.
Is Ponchos even still open?
Oh yes. We still go.
We go a few times a year.
Ponchos. Let's talk about that. No, we don't need to talk about Ponchos. Ponchos is a whole thing.
That's a whole different podcast.
It's a whole different podcast. But talk about that time of getting out there and running? Because over the past, what, it's been over 15 years, not only have you done tries, Rashan, you've gotten into bodybuilding, but that was like we're segueing into being adults and trying to stay healthy.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was running like for you all back? Like, we're taking it back to the basics,
Mm-hmm.
getting out there and running, that freedom of running. What was
Mhm.
it like for you?
So my parents were runners. Everybody in my family was runners except for me. I was the only one in my family immediate who didn't run. My mom and dad always ran. And my mom always said it's the easiest sport to do because all you have to do is go outside. Like you can just walk out your door and it's the most accessible sport on the planet. And it truly is. Walking, running, anybody can do it from anywhere. Um, I just never had the bug. I never saw the point in just running. And it was a mental challenge for me initially. I never got the runner's high that people got running. I remember every mile, all 13.1, every time I did a half marathon. Some people would like go into a zen and forget. And I'm like, I'm never there. I haven't forgotten a thing. I never got into that zone. So it was a challenge for me. And then like physically, like I'm not built like a distance runner at all. And so that, you know, was a challenge again, like a mental hurdle I had to get over. Like, am I supposed, do I belong here? Like that kind of thing. But once I got over that, it's probably the one of the things I feel like has been one of my greatest accomplishments is being able to do that, to run several half marathons. I mean, maybe 6 or 7 we did, maybe 8 total during those years when my knees were healthy.
Right. Yeah. Well, and with Jen, I was one of those kids too. Like as a swimmer, we of course we had all the calisthenics and all that stuff in college, and you had to run. I was always in the back. I hated running. I didn't like it at all. But then I became one of those people that had the Zen moments while I was running. I was one of those people that did not really listen to music. I was able to really zone out. Now I do remember every mile, especially that last one, and especially with the Publix half marathon. That last few, those were brutal, brutal. Those were brutal. I still remember those vividly. But it just became something that I really, really loved. And it's just like life. Like you change, like everything is in cycles. So I was a swimmer in high school, and then I took a break from a whole bunch of stuff, and then got into running, and all these things. And I feel like we can allow ourselves to explore whatever it is that is supposed to be for us at that time. And running was, so I mean, we had a nice little movement. Pretty Girls Run. I mean, we had everybody running. But again, once you realize how much it just pounds your body, and I know that now approaching 50, like I think about going back in and lifting all those weights that I did when I was bodybuilding, and I almost get sick thinking about it. I want to do easy stuff. I want to do easy things. But that's just where I am at this juncture. But I will say running was really good for me. And I still I do Orange Theory now. So I get 2.5 miles in when I go there. So I get like 11 miles in a week now on a treadmill though. Different. Yeah.
Running is running.
I
Miles are
know.
miles.
I
True.
know.
No
Yeah.
matter where you do them at, they are miles that are deposited into the bank because your body is clocking every mile.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Every mile.
Yeah, I'm just saying about the knees and the spine. It just feels a little better on the treadmill. Just it's a
Yeah.
little, it's cheating, but
Yeah.
I still like running, and I will attribute that to you and also seeing Jen's parents do it, and her sister who was an incredible mid distance runner. Wasn't she mid distance
Yeah.
runner? So just seeing them do that. So the Price family was always into that, but I'm happy. I'm happy that I can still do it.
Yeah.
I wish I could. Now that I can't, I miss it. Now that
Yeah.
I can't run, I absolutely miss it.
Mhm.
I may be able to get up to a little trot on a treadmill, maybe safely. But yeah. I never thought I'd say that about running, that I actually do miss it.
Wow. Well, here's a sport that you have tried, literally a triathlon, that you can still do and trot and or walk. at the end. So let's go right into it. You guys did your first triathlon. Was it in 2013?
Believe it was.
Callaway Gardens? I feel like that was your
Callaway
first
Gardens.
one. Oh, I can. It's a good one. So Callaway Gardens 2013. Why? Like how?
Well, I think I set the goal because I knew that I had to stop running distance. At that time, my doctor was like, okay, you need to start swimming. You can run probably not more than like a 10K. That's probably all you should be running. No more half marathons. That try was, I think, had a 5K at the end of it. So it wasn't very long. It was accessible as far as distance goes. And I was like, well, this sounds like a good place to start. And I think it was smaller. I feel like it was a smaller triathlon, not huge as far as the participation field goes. So it was an easy entry point. And it was a sprint. So it felt like it was a good beginner. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just jumped on board with her. I'm always up for a good challenge. And I'm like, wow, I think I may be able to do that. And I knew obviously my first leg, my swimming leg would be the strongest. But boy, as soon as I got out that water, them bikers was like, yeah, we see you, friend. Where? I was like, wow. I had my helmet on backwards the first 8 miles, all kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on here. But I was happy to say we did it. And when we ran across that finish line, it was a beautiful thing.
It's so funny that you said that the bikers came and passed you, because that is a real thing, how the swimmers are like, yep, we were in and out, but the cyclists, they come in and they are gone because that's what they do. But it does feel good when you're out of the water and you at least have that little, free time before they come passing you by.
Yes.
Feel good for a little moment, but the hat on backwards, the helmet on backwards.
And then another like veteran cyclist was like, your helmet's on backwards. I was like, okay. That's true story. True story at Callaway Gardens. I'll never forget it.
Hilarious.
So what was it like training for your first sprint?
I mean, I learned to swim for that. That was my goal. If I learned to swim, that's why I set the goal to do the triathlon, because I wanted something to prove that what I'd learned with all those lessons I'd done. So I was terrified because we were swimming in a lake, and Rashan, she hates lakes. So she had me hating lakes. I didn't hate lakes until I started talking to Rashan about swimming in lakes. But it's true, like you can't see the bottom, they're murky, they feel kind of gross and whatever. So terrifying for me. It was terrifying.
So you learned how to swim for this particular event, but did you already have a bike? Did you know how to cycle?
Well, I knew how to cycle because I know how to ride a bike, but I didn't have a bike either. I got a bike for the triathlon as well. I wasn't good at any of the legs. Like Rashan was good at swimming. Like I didn't have a particular strength, swim, biking, or running. All of them I was equally as mediocre in all of them, but I was determined to do all three of them. So I got a bike just for the triathlon. My sister's friend was selling her bike. It's a bike she had built, she put together from parts. I don't even know if it was a good bike or not, but it fit me. So I used it, got it tuned up, learned how to swim. I was already running, so I already had that part, but yeah, it was, I don't know, it felt like Bad News Bears for me. Because I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. The transitions, I think you coached us through the transitions, Michanda. You gave us some tips, which were great. Some things to do, how to have our area set up. But all of it was new. We had to buy, I think Rashan had to buy a bike rack because we didn't have bike racks. We had never done this before. So it was our first time getting real bikes, I think, too, Rashan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I found a nice bike at that's this one off of Floyd Road right here on the Silver Comet. And then I found a green bike, and it was halfway decent bike. And I kind of learned on that, kind of self-taught. Bad idea. And yeah.
The thing is, with biking, you're like, I already know how to ride a bike. I've been riding a bike since I was a kid, but it's not the same as cycling.
It's not the same as cycling.
Strategy.
Yeah.
Gears. I didn't use any gears my first My first triathlon, I never changed gears. I swear, y'all. I said, oh my gosh, it could have been easy. At certain points, it could have been easier. Oh my God.
Hilarious.
So bad. It's so bad, but it's true. But we did it.
We
And we
did.
can always say we did our first triathlon at Callaway Gardens together.
We did.
Not only did you do it, but you guys went back and did it again.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did too. We did another one at Altoona up in I guess that's north of the city. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that in Lake Lanier or
Lake Altoona? It's its own lake. It's like
lake, okay.
Cobb-ish.
Yeah.
Cherokee,
like Kennesaw,
Acworth, Bartow County. Yeah, up north. Mm-hmm.
Now, what did you take with you from your first triathlon to your second?
I would say the swimming part. I knew how to properly position myself in the beginning because everybody's going for it, right? And then you got to figure out who's strong, who's weak. For me, because I am a strong swimmer, so I had to figure out like from the first one, I figured out like you gotta position yourself accordingly so you can get out in front because it's your strong leg. And so I think that I took that a lot more seriously. I had my head up a little bit more than I did the first time. I already knew that I was going to swallow that nasty lake water. Don't nothing taste good about lake water, guys. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing good about it. What can you do? And so you're going to take a couple swallows and then you're going to be like, that is nasty. And then you're going to keep going. But I was ready for it. That first time, I was like, oh, this don't taste like the pool. This does not taste like the pool. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. That's why you laughing. And everybody listening.
Absolutely.
It's true.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I learned.
I wasn't ready. It was so much more difficult.
The second one
the first one we did was a mini sprint. It wasn't even a real sprint. It was a mini beginner sprint. The one at Altoona was a real sprint. In fact, it was not a 5K at the end of the one at Lake Lanier. It might have been like 2 miles, maybe. I'm sorry, at Callaway. It might have been like 1.5 miles. The one at Altoona was a 5K at the end. It was a real sprint, and it was so much more challenging. I was so happy there were people in the water. They had like platforms. I guess they might have been like just stationed out into the water where you could, and people on like boards where you could like take a rest if you needed to, because Rashan mentioned this and I didn't take heed to this. The positioning is so important so that you're not behind someone who's kicking. Sometimes you have to swim out of the way a little bit or just start a little slower or start fast out the gate. And I just didn't position myself well. I took in so much water the first, I don't know how many meters that was, that I had to stop and just gather myself at one of those little buoy areas and just wait and just like find some zen before I kept swimming. My legs felt like weights after I got off the bike. I'd never biked on like a real highway like that before too. The Callaway was on their property, so it was a very nice scenic ride. Altoona, we were on a street.
Oh, we were on the road.
On the road, yeah. Like serious hills, like speed too. We were going so fast down some of those hills. I was like, Lord, just let me keep it in the road, Jesus, please. Like that was challenging. And then by the end of that, my legs felt like weights. My legs were so heavy and cramped up so bad. I couldn't even hardly run. So it took me so long. I was like one of the last people to finish. Me and the old lady, she was like 74 years old, I think. She said she wasn't going to leave me. A little elderly woman. We finished together. I was singing hymns.
Lord,
only one I could think of was Amazing Grace because my brain was gone.
Right. And you're really not a gospel girl like that anyways. Oh.
I was calling on him. Lord Jesus. I promise I will glorify, magnify your name if you just take me across this line with some dignity. People were finishing. People had medals.
Oh my God.
But my family, Rashan was there at the end. My sister was there. I think my brother might have been there. Like our support group was there. like cheering me on at the end, didn't leave. Yeah, I learned that was going to be my last one. That's what I learned. That's what I learned. That's my takeaway.
And I'll say the same thing. People are like, oh, you're good enough to do an Olympic try. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I did it. I feel you, Jenny.
Yeah. I'm
well,
cool.
When I saw you swimming in December, Rashan, and you were posting on your social, I was like, there might be hope. Rashan might be up for a new little challenge. Perhaps. Let's see. Because Jen, I mean, what about relays? You can do duathlons now. You can do aquathons or aquathlons. Multi-sport is becoming like huge. More, yeah.
Oh, that sounds fun. Maybe I could do like a swimming and running. I could do that.
Or do like the swim leg of someone's try.
Yeah. That was for the diversity in aquatics and the Celebration Bowl. They partnered with that organization. So prior to the Celebration Bowl, they had this big HBCU meet, and it was fantastic. I'm like, oh my God, it felt so good. You had FAMUans out there, Howard. And then you also have women who were like Jen that actually joined a swim team, and they swim together 4 or 5 times a week. And like, it's like Tri Women of Atlanta, something. They do triathlons together, but then they just, many of them just swim together, and they were in the meet with us. And it was just like, of course, a lot of us were collegiate swimmers, but they were out there racing with us too. And it was all like love. And it was like, I didn't even know, because I was there to host, but also be a partner with them. And I was like, yeah, I'll jump in. I was really happy that I did. And it was just, it's great. So it did get me to thinking about master swimming. Because swimming, out of all the things that I've done in my life, it is the best for my body. And I know that. It's the best for my body. I already know if I commit to it like I want to, I will get the results that I have been longing for 2 or 3 years now. Well, probably 2 years, but yeah, it's just the commitment of getting in that water. When you've done something your whole life, I've done it my entire life, from 3 to 21, then a break, and then, anyway, so we'll see. I still love it.
What about you, Jen?
I did. So I lied. I did train for one more triathlon, but I wasn't going to do it because it was in the ocean. I'm not swimming in nobody's ocean. But I know that group you're talking about, Rashan, the swim group. In fact, Drelly was the coach of that team, who's a local Atlanta swimmer. But I did train with that group, and I really liked doing that. So I could see myself just training, getting back in the water. I was just thinking about that actually this year, doing that again. And I really think like with some good, proper training, I could be really good on the cycle. I think I could be really strong in that. So I would consider like a sprint relay situation, maybe one day. But I do like the feeling I get. I think swimming is that one sport that I've done the least, but I have gotten that euphoric feeling during it and after, like where I just lose track of like I ain't even counting anymore. I just go for time, and I just enjoy being in the water, because you don't have to be like swimming. Once you master it technically, it's not, and this is free. I'm talking about just, freestyle. It's not that hard, unless your body is in pain or aches. But as long as you're in good condition and you get the technique down, it's pretty easy to do. And it feels good to me. I can zen out in the water. I love the water. Definitely adding it back into my workout. I was going to go this week, but it's been 15 degrees. Even though we're not swimming outside, I just refuse to go outside.
Yeah, because you got to walk back outside. Yeah. Even though if you take a shower, you still wet.
I'm not doing it. I'll wait till next week. But right. Yeah. I thought that was really cool that they did that, Rashan, the HBCU.
Oh, it's great. And I think it's only going to grow from here. Like people seeing more people involved in that. And I got a lot of text messages like, yo. So I'm like, okay, it'll be a big thing. Yeah. And it's been growing. I think it's been maybe the 3rd year that they've done it, but I'm really proud of their efforts, the efforts that they're making, not just with the swimming, but just diversity in aquatics. It's, making sure that Black folks are represented, people of color are represented, not just in the pool, but around the sport as well. So yeah, they're doing great work.
I know it helped me. You posting it, I was like, this is what's up. I love seeing this. And I think I started following the group as well, just to see what they're doing and monitoring their success, because you're right. It's not a lot of people out here swimming, and to see like a lot of collegiate programs, especially on the HBCU front, is no longer exist.
It's only one at Howard.
And that's at Howard. And they are killing the game, winning. Awesome. Like, I love it. I love to see that. Jen, you made a comment about, I got you guys started in triathlon, but I don't think that's the case.
No, it is.
I didn't do my first triathlon until 2014.
So maybe we got you started. You got to start in distance running, though. You got to start it in the long distance running.
Yeah, because I had only done a relay in 2009 at Lake Lanier, which, to Rashan's point, I didn't know what open water swimming was. I just swam because I was swimming in the pool, and somebody was like, "Hey, can you swim?" But that's all I had done. I mentioned it, but you guys are really, I think, probably ones that kind of got me into it for the most part, into triathlon.
I don't know. Awesome. Who did it? I could have sworn that you've always been our reason for the longest.
Maybe it was Lori. Was it Lori Palmer? Did she do one before us?
She probably did, but I've always attributed it to you.
To Michanda.
Yeah. I may have
talked about it. See, I was talking, but I hadn't put any action behind.
Well, maybe you were training, and then I don't know. We did it because of you.
We did it. Okay, well, there it is. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So there is a possibility of getting back into multisport, but you're gonna do some amazing things in the last 10 years. Sean, you've started a podcast, Cool Sorors, has blown up, and not just that, but you're on a well-known show that we can talk about. And then Jen, you created a beer conference, a crafted beer conference that I don't think I mentioned it during the introduction, but Crafted for Action. Like, you guys are both founders, you're leaders, you're curators, business women. Let's talk a little bit about that before we wrap up.
It's crazy. I never thought I'd be a businesswoman or an entrepreneur. I'm a 9-to-5er. I would rather someone else figure it out and just give me a check every 2 weeks, like clockwork, which I still do. I still do have my full-time job. But my passion is in craft beer and in making sure there are opportunities for all people to be a part of that industry. It's for so long been gate kept, and it's very white male dominated. And what you'll see in Atlanta is that, this is a place where Black people can do anything. And we have our own communities in those spaces where we are not traditionally found or where we are underrepresented. And craft beer is one of those spaces, and started a long time ago with it as a hobby and rolled it into a few businesses. And now it's a craft beer conference in its 5th year.
It's crazy.
Craft beverage conference this year, because we're expanding beyond beer to include wine, spirits, non-alcoholic brands, adaptogens, THC-based drinks.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, just alternatives, because what you'll see is that people are developing more of a soberish lifestyle. A lot of people are, where people aren't drinking alcohol as much. And with the regulation and the demystifying of THC and CBD, people are using that as an alternative. It's healthier, it's better for your body, it's better for inflammation in so many ways. And so people are really exploring different tonics and ways to be a part of a craft beverage community that don't involve alcohol. So my goal is to create opportunity in all those spaces for people of color and women.
Yeah.
I love that. Do you have dates for the conference that you can share?
June 18th through 22nd.
All right, y'all, June 18th through 22nd. I'm going to get the link for y'all. So be sure to click the link if you're in Atlanta or want to come down to Atlanta. I say definitely make plans to do that. All right.
We have a virtual component too. So if you can't make it, we have it's like 2 conferences in one, of the in-person plus a whole virtual track of panels that happen on 2 of those days of the conference. So there's opportunities for everyone. CraftedForAction.com.
craftedforaction.com. And if I remember correctly, at the end of the conference, there's like a camp, an adult
We
camp.
do. We do. It feels like summer camp. It's like a day camping situation that we do. REI has been our sponsor in the previous years, and a company called Outdoor Gear and Beer, which is a husband and wife, Nick and Amanda, who are overlanders and camping, like very experienced in that, create a full camp environment for people to come out and chill out. It's such a vibe. It's my favorite part of the conference. It's also the last full day. So I get to chill out.
Right.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity to do so many great things in my life when it comes to the media space. And now recently being kind of, I would say a lot of me is an actor. I would say 100%. I'm still emceeing and hosting events, headed out of town this weekend. My first quarter is all about hosting and emceeing. I still love that part of my life, but being on the other side of it, being kind of fully engulfed in the actor space has been really, really rewarding. And I'm really enjoying it a lot. It has offered me different experiences in life, some really cool friendships and bonds that I've been able to make. And then I'm just thinking about the opportunity for whatever my next step is, which would definitely includes directing and producing. My goal now is to find that next star and, give he or she the opportunity to land that role, that something that I've been able to green light, and they, I see them from the stage and they're like, thanks Rashan Ali for allowing me this opportunity to change my life. Much like I talk about Tyler Perry and a lot of people in my life who have helped me change the trajectory of my life. I want to be that for somebody else. And so I'm looking forward to the next stage. I want to come in like Oprah and Whoopi and just, kill a role and woot and come back and then, produce or EP or direct or, just kind of do that's the next phase of my life. So as much as, as we get into our little pockets when we're like, oh, things aren't going my way, we have so many things to be grateful for in our lives and the things that we've been able to do. Just this moment right here that was curated from God a long time ago for us to be at this point, and can't forget that is a part of the journey. Like for us to be right here at this moment, it's incredible, and not taking that lightly, because we know where we are in this country on the other side of things that have just transpired. I'm not sure when this is going to air, but just we got to have us, man. And moments like this remind me, like, there's some really great things in life. So let's keep this at the forefront.
Kind of got a little emotional with that, right? Because I know that I'm where I am because of my start back in Atlanta and being able to be in rooms in which I wouldn't have been able to be in if it wasn't for being with you, Rashan, and learning that tough prowess from Jen Price. Because listen, let me tell you, she will whip you in shape. Okay. So I appreciate that. And I've taken that with me. And you guys are a part of the fabric of my story. And I've never forgotten it. And I just want to give you your flowers and say thank you. Thank you for taking me in and being big sisters to me and allowing me to learn and glean. And when I have questions, ask, with Rashan, and when I was modeling a lot or getting those little commercial roles and asking questions, and just there's so much, and you have to have people who you can look up to and ask those questions. And then with Jen, I know I was calling, it's like, can you tell me how to do this, website or whatever? And, being able to have the relationships and just checking in. And I know I don't live in Atlanta anymore, and it can seem like distance can put space, but we were so intentional about staying connected. And I appreciate that, like that intentionality. And so I appreciate y'all so much, and just so grateful for all the things that I've learned, because I know that Trial Beginner's Luck is a byproduct of being around amazing women like you, doing some boss move things and being able to just be in the midst of some boss women. So I appreciate that.
I will echo those sentiments, and Jen and I will echo these sentiments to you. We don't really look at you as a little sister. You really are a big little sister to us, because you have inspired us in so many ways.
Yep.
And she can echo that as well, because you have, as much as we poured into you, you have equally, or maybe even a little bit more, into us.
Mm-hmm.
So we are so grateful. Jen, if you want to add on, but I know you feel that
No,
too. Yeah.
I do. Michanda has always been like my spiritual big sister, you know, where, and that's one of those areas where I just always find myself wanting and needing to grow in my faith walk, in just belief. And that is something that I've always gotten from you. And I watch you, I witness you, I see how steadfast you are with things, how consistent you are with your faith and your spiritual journey. And it is definitely an area where I look up to you in. Like I don't have that foundation nearly as tight as yours is. And so yeah, I look to you as, my big sister in that regard. So I mean, the way that our friendship has grown is, yeah, like Rashan said, it's just kind of ambiguous. Like, who's the big sister depends on the situation. Right.
Well, the fact that we're sisters is all that matters. And
Yeah.
I will say that it's a journey. And I think growing in your faith, the more you grow, the harder things sometimes get,
Feels like
because
it.
of where you're going and positioned. But with that said, y'all, this has been a pleasure. We got rapid fire to come. Because we're going to get this rapid fire and then we're going to close out. But I am so grateful to have y'all on. So first question up, favorite song?
Right now, anything by Glorilla at this point.
Right?
Listen to the whole album beginning to end almost every day.
Right?
At least 3 times a week. Yeah.
Wow.
Hold on. It's probably my favorite one.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one. I have no idea. I'm all over the place. It could be anything from Chris Brown residuals to some gospel song by Tasha Cobbs Leonard. Bless, I'm counting my blessings. I like that one.
All right.
That was great.
It was.
Thanks.
Thinking
Are
back
you
to your
frozen,
first,
Michanda?
I probably am, because it's. Can y'all hear me though?
You're fine now.
Because listen, this internet unstable with our weather. Whenever it rains in DC or it like messes with everything. So, next question. Did you have any race day superstitions?
Ooh. Not superstitions, probably rituals. Like after our race, we always did like ice bath situations.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't think I had any superstitions. I was just trying to make it. I was trying to get the nerve to not back out. Invite a whole lot of people so they will hold you accountable, and tell everybody you're doing it so you can't back out.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, mine really quickly, because I know Jen's got to drop off. But for the first time, I ran for my aunt, my godmother, who eventually passed away from lung cancer. And the second time we did it for our friend Jess, as she was battling the third. She had stage 3 breast cancer at the time, but our girl is alive and well and thriving and just being the most beautiful person ever. The good time. The camp director. So I remember we were running for purpose. So it wasn't more
Very
like
true.
we were running for purpose for both times. So
yeah,
I love that. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jess is the camp director, and she is. Her strength is wow.
Yeah,
she the boss.
Yes, she is.
Did you all clip in or did the flat pedals?
I had like cages on the toes, so they weren't clips. I think Rashan, you clipped, didn't you?
I clipped in. Yeah, I clipped in.
Okay.
So I had gotten used to it, but it is scary because people that have clipped their whole leg off. Okay, I mean not like that, but it could be very serious injuries when you can't clip out at the same time. So yeah, I clipped in.
We'll finish with this one. I don't let people leave without asking them if they've peed on their bike or gotten off and taken a proper pee break. But because I know you probably haven't peed on a bike, I'm going to ask you, do you pee in your tri kit or?
Never. I've never done that. I've never stopped to go to the bathroom ever at any race, from running the half marathons through. I've never stopped to go to the bathroom.
Nice.
I've never had to go.
And if I know her,
I'm not going because it's a porta potty situation. So it's a no from me.
Okay.
I guess it would have to happen on my bike if I had to go, but I've never done that. Yeah.
Yeah. And remember now, we only done like sprints.
Yeah, but people pee in the water right before they swim.
Oh, baby, let me tell you something about the pee in the water. Baby, I've been doing that my whole life. What you talking about? Huh? Yep. By the show.
Well, on that note, thank you all much for being here. Remember to follow, Try Beginner's Luck. If you want to view this, it's hilarious because Rashan and Jen are one stunning, but also they make some amazing faces. Check us out on YouTube. And remember, whenever you try Beginner's Luck, you truly always win. We've gotten back to basics. I hope you joined us in Back to Basics. Get back to your first love and let's continue to build. And remember, no matter what, just try. My name is Michanda Miles, also known as Michanda Shines, and we are out. Peace. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to this episode. We need your help so we can continue to try at TBL. So for more information on where you can find and subscribe to this podcast, visit www.trybeginnersluck.com. And don't forget, whenever you try Beginner's Luck, you always win.